What's going on, everybody out there? And welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly, your weekly dose of comic book news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. You're joined with the full frontline crew this week. I'm Chris, Dark Avenger C86. Next to me is Kat Comic Uno.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Over her and going all the way to the other side is Brad, Last Emperor Press.
What's up, everybody?
Below me is Mike Spider Slayer, Comic Book Corner 2.0.
What's up, guys?
And way over down below over there is Mike Duda Rock 18.
Hey, guys. Durock 18 here.
Only one that doesn't do comic book stuff on his channel.
You know, whatever.
Jeez, already. I don't do anything on my channel right now, so.
He always does this.
Why
It's
you
always
ruin it every
me,
time?
Always. But whatever. Continue.
I'd also like to mention that this is the week where Superman Red Sun has been released.
What's up, Rompy?
So next week,
might-
we're giving away the digital code for that.
I was gonna say we might have a little surprise, but we just spoiled it. So next week we're giving it away. But
Yep,
this
there you
week
go.
we are giving away tomorrow's comics, which is crazy. So today I was actually able to go to the comic book store, and I want to get my whole pile, but it's kind of hard to reach. And get my comics early because Diamond said, "Hey, get your comics early because who knows when comic book stores are going to close or not."
I feel like there should be like one of those old carnival markers. Get tomorrow's comics today.
I think they should do that for sure. But we do have those codes. So all you have to do is comment. That's all. And then we'll message you back at the end of the show. We'll have our email. So please, if you can stay for the end of the show, we'll give you 24 hours to look at the chat and comments. But if you can, please just let us know that you are around and email our email so we give you those codes. But what we're going to give you is Runaways, Valkyrie, Ghost Spider, Spider-Woman issue 1, The Amazing Mary Jane, Outlawed, Captain America because I got that issue by accident, and Fantastic Four. So you can get all those digital codes for free. If you win, all you have to do is comment.
How did you get Captain America by
It
accident?
was in my pool and I wasn't looking, and I didn't get in instead of Captain
Why was it-
Marvel.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
I still have to get Captain Marvel.
That's funny.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so although it kind of looked like an interesting issues, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll read it in like my spare time that I still don't have, surprisily enough.
Right.
But because for everyone who does work at home, it's the same amount of
doesn't
work you
stop.
usually would have. Yeah, so it's pretty much the same, but just everyone's home, so it's even worse because now everyone's just talking while you're doing your work. But yeah, so we have that we're giving away for free. Also, yes, we're going to mention the coronavirus. We are going to actually do a whole entire video about how that's affecting media and the comic book industry in particular, and that will be posted tomorrow. We didn't want to talk about that for 20 minutes on this show. We already talked about it for 20 minutes before our show, but we wanted this to be for you guys to forget about the world for an hour or two. That way we could all kind of be a little happy in this sad time. But we do want to still address it as well. So we're just going to do a separate video on it. So we are actually going to jump into some news here. So first up is that Savage issue 1 from Valiant was announced by a comic book YouTuber, comic historian, Benny, if you don't know him. And I just thought this was really cool because, well, one thing I love the way Valkyrie does their PR, and not just because I'm friends with Greg who runs their PR, but I really do like that they always give the name of the reviewer if they're putting a pull quote. It's never just like Newsarama said this or like Newsarama, Kat Kalamia said this, which is really cool. And then, yeah, being very favorable to YouTubers and showing that we're outlets as well. So I thought it was really cool that they gave an exclusive to a YouTuber, a big YouTuber like Comic Historian. So I was really happy to see that more than just the title because I don't know much about the title, but I thought that was a cool way to release news. Any
Very
thoughts
cool.
on that?
Oh, it's just that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you-
agree with you.
At all.
Attribution. It goes a long way.
For sure. All right, we're going to move on to something Michael wanted to talk about, which was Shang-Chi's getting a miniseries.
Yeah, I was actually pretty excited to hear about that because I've read the Shang-Chi comic books and, I'm really excited to know that it's a mini series, and I'll definitely be picking that up and reading it. Hopefully, I just expect like great story, awesome artwork, and hopefully it'll be an enjoyable book for me to read, and as well as for everyone else who might be excited for it as well.
Oh, did I say Valkyrie? If I said Valkyrie, I'm sorry. I literally just read the issue
we all knew what you
before.
meant.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it until Tevye said it, and then I went, "Did you say it?"
So
Yeah.
sorry. I literally just was reading Valkyrie right before we went on, so it's like I got to read my favorite titles. I read Runaways first, of course, but Valkyrie was third because then I read Ghost Spider second. All right, let's go to DCeased 2, guys. Tevye, you were right. It's officially announced now with the Hollywood Reporter, and
Literally, not even 12 hours after we did last week's show, Tom Taylor started sharing pictures.
And now we have a little bit more information about it, which was cool. And I saw Cassie, so I love my Cassie Sandsmark, and I'll be reading it for her. That's about it, because I didn't love DCeased, so I know Mike really liked DCeased.
I did. It was better as it goes on.
I agree with that.
And I just feel like that's how kind of Tom Taylor does his writing. Like, you know, as more as you get with the characters, the more attached you get to the book. And that's how I feel like Suicide Squad's going to be shortly. But when it comes to DCeased, the sequel or whatever it is, I'm really excited about this. They're putting together a new Justice League, which I think is going to be quite interesting. They showed art from the book, which showed Cyborg's head, you know, that because it was chopped off at the end of the last series, and he's actually the cure of this whole thing. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. And Tom Taylor's like, yeah, there's going to be heroism. There's going to be more deaths. There's going to be change of status quos. And that's what I like about these like non-canon, like alternate stories, because the gloves are off. You can do whatever you want. And, you know, sometimes people write them and they write them real cheesy, but Tom Taylor still takes it real serious. So, and it makes it feel like it is a main story. So I am really excited for this.
I mean, we had Injustice. It was amazing. It lasted
Forever.
5 seasons, and then Injustice 2 lasted, I think, about 2 seasons, and then they had to cut it off. So, yeah, DCeased, I feel, yeah, definitely. It's Marvel Zombies done right.
Yeah.
And there's a cure, technically. They just have to they got
to find Cyborg's head.
Reattach Cyborg's head to something? I don't write the books. I just tell the facts.
Michael's gonna read that one right away. But let's get into some other DC news. And yes, there's a lot of DC news just because the solicits came out. I'm guessing there'll be a lot of Marvel news next week if the solicits come out. Who knows? Who knows where the world will be? But
we're all gonna die.
No,
let's
say that.
But you know, things keep changing, so we don't know what's going to be coming out or not.
You didn't watch Aliens 2?
I don't like Aliens.
Isn't Aliens 2 redundant? Isn't it just called Aliens?
I think it is called Aliens. It's Aliens, but it's the second movie.
Yeah,
so.
it's just
Anyway, game over,
First one was Alien, then Aliens.
Right.
And then Aliens had
Alien
a sequel, and that's Aliens 2.
Oh my god.
Which is just the third movie, really. All right, well, let's go to the next piece of news here, which is that Justice League already has a new creative team with Cy Spurrier, who they did Hellblazer, does that alienated comic from Boom Studios, and then a new Shazam creative team, which honestly, you know, makes sense. Jeff Johns had a lot of delays with that one. Jeff Loveness is going to be writing it. Definitely have read his stuff. I just don't remember what he's written.
Yeah. I don't know. The art looks good, though.
Yeah, art looks good.
Is that going to take place before or after Superboy, though?
I guess he'll probably finish the Superboy arc.
Yeah.
He's very delayed. I think at this point, because Jeff Johns was so delayed, we need a new team to get the book moving.
It's not just that. It got less interesting, at least for me, it did.
Oh, yeah. We were going to talk it.
Yeah.
Now I'm
only reading it for Superboy.
Yeah. Same.
I'm only skimming it for the Superboy. You know, at this point, I want to see what they do with Superboy Prime. It's been 7 years since we've seen him. So I'm just curious what happens with him.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Justice League, I'm disappointed. But well, from what I know, I mean, when I read the article, he said he's writing an arc. So
That's so weird still, though. If someone just jumped on.
Like, he just jumped on, and it's just like, so is he going to write an arc, and then Venditti is going to come back, or is he just going to write an arc, and then another person's going to come on?
Oh God, I don't know.
You know,
makes me happy I'm not reading that series because it sounds like it's going to be a lot of hands in that.
I just got into it, and I like how Venditti's writing the book right now. You know, I'm disappointed that we got to get a change again, and I'll probably still try it. Don't get me wrong; I could like it even better, but I don't want to get attached, and then we get another creative team.
Yeah. And I'm also a little hot and cold on Cy Spurrier. I believe he wrote Legion for Marvel at one point.
He might have. I don't remember. But yeah, Alienated was a good example. I know we were both kind of like lukewarm on that series.
Right. Yeah. So I'll give it a shot. But yeah, it's the same kind of thing with Mike. It's like if it's these really short arcs, I don't know how long it's going to keep my interest.
I'll say his I would say his humor and also just like his writing is very, very British. So if you like the Alan Moore, and he is British, exactly. But there's some British writers that you don't notice are, really embracing their British style of writing. He very much embraces the British style of writing. It's very like dry humor, and you're like, was that a joke? Was it not? I don't know. So, especially coming from like an American point of view. So I guess watch out for that.
I was just happy that Venditti was on Justice League because I like Venditti's writing. So it's like Mike said. I kind of agree. It's that I don't want to keep jumping from one writing team to another.
Yeah, I agree. But it goes back to like, where is DC going? Blah, blah. And this is kind of good proof of like, oh, they're really trying to figure it out. Because look, how many new creative teams and things got canceled again this month.
This could have all been before they started the staff change also. Remember, they're about a year in advance. So
I would say a couple of months in advance. I would say year planning. Yeah, up to the solicits is where they've pretty much made their issue or two ahead of that.
Okay.
But plotting-wise, they're probably a year ahead.
Right, and I think that's why they ended up to the staff change because things were going in a very questionable direction. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I hope Venditti will be back on Justice League, but keep fingers crossed. New team will be good too.
I was
Did
gonna
you see the comment here, Kat? With Comic Universal.
That's what I was gonna mention. I was gonna mention that.
In honor this one.
But how about we rank our Robins too? That could be fun. We got the time.
In honor of Robin's 80th anniversary, rank all the Robins for me. It's number 1, Damian Wayne. 2, Dick Grayson. Him and Damian are very close. Tim Drake, Jason Todd.
Wow.
First place would be Dick Grayson for me. Second place, Tim Drake. Third would be Damian, and then fourth would be Jason.
Stephanie Brown does count, right?
No, she's only in for she could be my number 5. I didn't even read any Stephanie Robin. So
that's it. Stephanie Brown.
I can't honestly, like, if I'm being completely honest, if I'm just tracking for Robins, Stephanie's better than Damian, but she's got to be like last place because she's like had an arc and she almost died. So she did die. She died back to life. She died, I think, when she was spoiler though, so doesn't quite count, but she just had quit being Robin. So I can't put Steph number 1 because she was a really bad Robin, but she's a great goddamn superhero. But yeah, Steph is like last place.
Does Carrie Kelly count?
That's what I was about to say. She'd be like number 6, but
she'd be
Steph is higher than Carrie.
Yeah.
For me, I would go Dick. And then I would say, Damian. Then I would go with Jason, and then
Tim.
Tim, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
My place would be mine would be for 1 Dick Grayson, of course. 2 would be Jason Todd. 3 would be I don't know, like Tim Drake probably, and 4 Damian.
I would have to rank them as Robins. I don't think Dick Grayson was a great Robin. I think he's a great Nightwing. So Tim Drake is the best Robin. Then I would go with he's Robin. Tim is the best Robin. Then I would actually go with Damian, surprisingly enough. I did put him last, but as a Robin, I'd put Damian. Then Dick Grayson. Then Steph. than freaking Jason Todd because he sucked as Robin. That's why they killed him off.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one that puts Tim Drake first because he's
Yeah,
definitely
he's
my number
great.
one. Yeah. Number 2, Damien. I think my list is exactly the same as yours, Kat, actually.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's exactly what you just said.
Dick was
We
still the
agreed
longest
one.
running Robin.
It doesn't
You
matter.
guys
He
just like the goody Robins.
he
That's
wasn't
all.
the best Robin.
Tim's
Yeah.
awesome.
Little goody
He's third
two
best.
shoes guy. I like the little guys with
He's
the
better with
edges on
Nightwing.
them.
So Damien, because Jason, he was also a goody two
Yeah.
shoes.
But I like how he got like I liked
I
that
mean,
whole thing
until
of
he
like
got into the Red Hood.
hide and everything.
You
Like
gotta
I
put,
like that
Yeah.
whole thing with him.
you got to put in perspective though. Everybody voted to have Jason killed.
That's awesome. I like that.
We love that he sucked.
It's because you know what, back then though, it was something different. It was something new. So, so people were like, yeah, that'd be cool if he died. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It was
They did it.
cool. I remember it. I remember reading it in the comment. I'm like, what the? Yeah, it was crazy. But
It's definitely a big moment.
Mhm.
But that was a good, fun questions. If you guys have any more, let us know. Next up is that the DC Generations was already missing from the solicits. Month later, no more Generations.
Oh, how about that? Generation just poof disappeared.
Unless it's delayed.
Unless
I
it's
don't know.
delayed or it went with Dan Didio.
major rewrites.
It could
or
be.
major rewrites. Because that was supposed to lead into 5G, correct?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
was 5G.
It was 5G. Yeah,
It was 5. Well,
5G was just kind of their
Placeholder name.
placeholder name. Thank you.
there goes that. Right out the window. I mean, Dan Didio left. Generations has disappeared.
I think they're probably going to retool it. Well,
Yeah.
who knows, honestly? Like,
I
you had
hope
3
they
Jokers.
retool it.
You
When
had
did we
3
get
Jokers
an
released
announcement
3
though if it
later.
was truly canceled?
No, they might want to sweep
I
that.
think they
Look at
would've-
that Birds of Prey comic that keeps getting delayed. They just
Yeah, I
keep.
think they would have announced
But they
it.
keep
I don't think
announcing
they
it though. They're like Birds of Prey, it's getting delayed. Here it just was like nothing.
They
Yeah.
could. It could just be they're working on it because I don't think they would have just canceled it without mentioning it, especially with the first issue already slated.
I
Before
don't know.
that.
I don't know, man. It's
But look
a
at
crazy
me,
world we live in.
At this point, I'm riding the wave with DC Comics. I'm like that surfer, just riding the wave, hoping I don't crash.
Just that one
I
surfer. Who knows who that surfer is? But it's that guy.
It's
I
that
do
guy.
Right.
You know,
Just that
one
guy riding the wave.
I want to mention this real quick, not because of Frozen, but Star Wars. The latest Star Wars is already up there too.
Yeah, they're
No,
because
Rise
of the
Skywalker?
quarantine. Yeah, because
Yeah.
they're just releasing everything early because they're
Guys,
like
I'm
everyone's
sorry,
bored.
I'm leaving. I don't feel good. I'll be back next week. Have a good show, everyone.
Be back in.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my god.
I've
There
got
you get our whole lineup messed
How do I
up, Chris.
fix this? Hold on, let's get rid of.
Oh god.
Ah,
What is going
There
on?
we go.
Now we still
That's
move.
still wrong. I gotta go and take.
Get out of here.
There we go.
There we
There you
go.
go.
We do have another
my
question,
God.
and that's from Comic Universal. Also, which Robin do you guys think is best suited to become Batman after Bruce is done? For me, it's Damian. Dick already did it though.
It would have to be
Dick was
Damien.
already Batman, technically. You're right. So I mean, maybe
And he
Dave.
didn't even want to do it. I think Damian would
Yeah.
want to do it.
Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne was a really good combination.
It was.
Mhm. Oh, good comics. I miss those days,
Yeah.
man.
So,
They're still happening. It's just DC's lost a little bit of step. Give them.
No, I mean I miss the days where we had like exciting stories like
I
that
mean-
one and dynamics like that.
that was a Grant Morrison run that I actually liked.
Yeah. And guess what? Stephanie was Batgirl at the time. It was a great
Yeah.
time.
Wait, did Grant Morrison do the Justice League? I like JLA with Superman with the mullet. Was that Grant Morrison?
What's with you and these mullets?
I don't know.
Superman with a
Like,
mullet was the best.
Oh my god.
Never get over that. Superman with long hair. That's just the way it should
I
be.
know, you do.
You all got long hair.
Clark Kent in the front, Superman in the back. I don't know.
Who's in the front, party in the back.
Oh god.
There's always a party in the back. What the hell are we talking about?
I don't even know
I
anymore.
don't
This
even
is
know.
what happens when
I
people
am
get
talking
locked
about
in their
Superman with
house.
long hair, and Michael's talking about a party in the back.
What?
Oh,
What did he
And
say?
because
No.
you said that, now he
Mike,
left.
I think Mike, we just lost him because of this 30-minute thing that happens all the time on his phone.
Oh, okay.
But
I
yeah,
heard him say something I couldn't quite.
He just left all of us.
He's like, I'm tired of all this. I came here to talk comics.
What's going on?
We are talking comics. But I would love if they do another run with, like, not an Elseworld, but like when Damian was with Dick, and another Batman, Robin, Dick, and Damian. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully one of these
Now
days.
you make me want to go back and buy the trades, because I keep thinking about buying the trades.
It's not my fault. That's yours.
Yes, Grant Morrison did the JLA run with Superman with a mullet.
Okay,
he became electric.
That's the other one. So it's just those two, Justice JLA and Batman and Robin that I like. I unfortunately own the X-Men run omnibus.
Just to give credit where credit's due, that was Mike Manhattan that answered that. So.
There you go. Oh,
sorry, Kat. Go ahead.
I'm glad I didn't click it. I was gonna click it.
We all just wanted to showcase your comment.
We're all clicking Mike Manhattan today. Get
Let's move on to the next one, which is Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer is getting a mini series. Yeah. Good for her, because she doesn't have a lot of room to do anything in Buffy. You know, I was actually talking to Phil Brandt about this, where we were talking about Buffy, and it's just like, were Willow and Buffy really that good of friends? Like in the show, like they implied it a lot, but I can't even tell you an episode where it's just about their friendship. They're not really great friends.
Not really. It's like, I don't even know how you would describe their friendship. Like they were there.
Proof.
They're like pretend
we
friends.
Get more Batman and Robin.
It's like Willow was always supportive of Buffy, but Buffy was just like kind of always doing her own thing. It was weird. Like I'm thinking like the college stuff, especially. Like Buffy was just kind of.
Even in high school, I feel like Cordy and Buffy had an episode, which was the prom episode.
Yeah.
Cordy had an episode with Willow.
Yeah, that's true.
Tara was more friends with Buffy than Willow was friends with Buffy.
Willow was just kind of there.
She really was. But point being, she's getting a mini. She doesn't need to be friends with Buffy because she's not friends with Buffy. No. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I love it because they advanced her storyline so much in the comic, from the way it was really drawn out in the show. And so it makes sense to give her a spot to kind of give her the spotlight, is what I was trying to say. And I'm curious to see what they do with her story.
I'm glad they're doing more stuff with the Buffy stuff. We do have a question from Tevia, which he hasn't asked, so we'll answer this one. And that is, how do you feel about Grant Morrison's Superman New 52? I honestly didn't hate it for the beginning. I'm not a hardcore Superman fan. I actually liked parts of it. I do think it got prolonged a lot, but I enjoyed it. It's weird to say that.
Which run that was?
The T-shirt one.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that.
I didn't like when it went to all the different multiverses. That's when I was like, I'm good. Not like span into multiversity or whatever that was.
That might have been one of the first ones I dropped, actually.
The first New 52 title you dropped. Oh, God. I mean, Chris, what did you think of it?
I'm busy looking up Batman and Robin by Grant Morrison.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about
New Grant Morrison.
I thought all the New 52 Superman was trash. Yeah, I did.
That was your answer. Mike, you're back. So what did you think of Grant Morrison's Superman New 52 run? It seems like I was the only one who liked it for the most part. I don't know. Oh, Mike's not back.
I told my Batman. Stupid Superman.
We're not talking about this tonight. All right. Well, that was all the news.
First volume's available. Second volume not available.
Maybe one of these days, but probably not, because they're not graded. Well, they try to recollect stuff, but only if they're doing something with it for a future story arc, like Young Justice.
One new for $167.99. Goodbye. I'm done looking this up.
Oh my God. It must have just not been printed that much.
Well, I don't care. I don't need it.
Let's see if Mike's back. Are you back?
I don't know. Am I?
Yeah.
You're back. So what do you think about Grant Morrison?
I don't see myself on the screen. That's why. So I don't know if there's a delay on my end.
Yeah.
I mean, you sound okay. It sounds like you're answering us like pretty on time. Maybe not.
I'll have to come back because it says the page is unresponsive.
Okay. Let us know.
All right.
We're never going to know if Mike's likes Grant Morrison's New 52 run.
So
Mike disappeared. You lose viewers. Come on. Come on, Mike. Need you back. No, I'm kidding.
They're counting on you.
We do.
Time to move on.
But that's all the news. We talked about so much.
Yeah, we kind of need Mike for this next part.
Well, we have Under the Radar. We have a little bit of time to buy.
Nobody cares about Under the Radar. Yeah, no, they do. Let's
of course, Chris would say that because he loves it. So now moving on to Under the Radar.
Oh, Mike, you let me go first?
No, I'm going to go first.
Yeah, he is.
All right, you want to go first? Go.
Yes, I do want to go first.
Go on, take it. You gotta take
I
my
actually
spotlight.
enjoyed this book, and I feel bad that I missed the first issue, but I went back and read the first issue. Death to the Army of... I want to make sure I'm saying this right. Yes, Death to the Army of Darkness, issue number 2. I don't know why I pass every time I see an Army of Darkness book. I'm like, no, they can't tell. They've told it all.
Guess who writes that story? Ryan Parrott, who does Power Rangers.
No.
Yeah, really? Same guy. Mm-hmm.
That explains why I like this one. Enough said. I just decided to check out issue 2, skim through it, see what was up. I love the artwork in the book, and then the story hooked me. I went back. I stopped literally 2 pages in. I went back, read the first issue. Well, I skimmed the first issue to get to the second issue because, I mean, time is money here. And I loved it. So Ash wanted to be separated from being the one. He didn't want the Deadites chasing him anymore. And for Florida has people there. That's great. Thank you. Pick that one.
That's where Mike went.
He needs to dance right now at 10:44 at night.
And we just
you felt the urge, you gotta move when you feel it, right?
Oh my god.
But anyway, he asked to separate himself from the one. He doesn't want to be chased by the Deadites, normal Ash. And of course it goes horribly wrong. And instead of being separated from being the one, he gets separated into 5 different versions of himself. There's a mini him, there's a skeleton him, there's his feminine side, which is creepy, very, very creepy. But I do like the Hail to the Queen we got from his feminine side. So the only way to bring him back together is to go to the source, because the person who separated him turned into a Deadite, and he just basically, shotgun to the head, boomstick. So it turns out the only way he's going to get himself back together is to find the source, and the source is at, anyone who knows Army of Darkness? Yeah, no. I hear it. The cabin. They have to go back to the cabin again, where his girlfriend, his dead girlfriend, for the 30th time, is there and attacks him again. I want to know how long this woman's going to stay there dead. But it was just great. And then they ended up reading from the Necronomicon and getting sucked into a void. Book ends on a really cool cliffhanger. I love Army of Darkness. I loved reading it. The way I'm explaining is just the enjoyment I had while I was reading. It's like classic feeling to Army of Darkness. I can't wait for the next issue. None of you read the book, don't even insult it. Kat,
I have nothing to insult. I was going to say we have 2 questions. First up was, speaking of Grant Morrison, anyone see him in that one My Chemical Romance video where he kills the band members? No, but makes sense because Gerard Way is like a comic book guy, so I'm not surprised. And was like influenced by Grant Morrison. If you read his stuff, he's like Grant Morrison's child. So they're very similar writing. The other question was, did any of you read Die, Die, Die from Image? It comes back with issue 9 tomorrow. No. Nope. I don't even think I read issue 1. Mike's not having a good time tonight.
Mike is not having a good reception today.
And this is a question for you, Chris. Mike Manhattan asks, there's an Evil Dead comic. Does it continue after the TV series, or is it a new thing?
Every comic series that has happened thus far takes place after Army of Darkness, after he returns back to Earth. So yes. As far as how many stories happened before it that could be referenced, many. You look up Army of Darkness trade paperbacks, you'll see them all. And honestly, there are very few I didn't like. They're all really good. They just somehow always... That cabin, I'm surprised he doesn't burn that shit down. I mean, at this point, you'd think he would, just so that he wouldn't have to go back to it again. And yes, I agree. I wish it wasn't canceled either, but even Bruce Campbell said they did as much as they could at that point. So I think at least it ended on a high note. I still got to get season 2 and 3. I only own season 1. So
right,
it ended
so-
on a high note, at least. At least it ended good, and it didn't drag itself into the "oh my god, I don't believe this is still on" Walking Dead.
So we'll go to Cat next. What's your under the radar?
Mine is a book that also no one cares about, and it is.
Why is
Snot
Brent
Girl.
still laughing? What did I say that made you laugh, Brent?
Nothing. Go on, Kat.
Wow.
Mine is Snot Girl. Love this book. In this issue, at the end, it says, "We don't know when we're coming back. We're sorry. We never release an issue." Yeah, this issue we get to see Lottie go to a wedding of her friend, not friend, and the wedding is in a forest, and it's in the middle of a forest fire. And then we get a little bit more of an unraveling of her girlfriend's mystery, where she dies and comes back to life, and she's like, everything's cool, we're good. So yeah, it's just everything I love about Snot Girl. You're at first like, what the hell am I reading? Because what is this mystery? And then there's so many good interpersonal relationships in the book, and then just crazy mayhem relating to how we ingest social media and how it kind of affects our psyche. So it's in my wheelhouse. I love it, and I thought this was the perfect form of Snot Girl for it to come back. So I love the book.
Okay, Bran, we'll go to you next.
Mine is actually Bloodshot number 7. It was a new arc beginning with this one, so I gave it a shot. I hadn't been reading it, but I actually enjoyed this. It's I forget the girl's name. Maybe you remember, Michael. I don't know if you read it.
Mina.
Mina, that's it. Yeah, so he's rescued Mina, who claims she didn't need rescuing, and we find out that she really can handle herself. But he's trying to rescue her, and they get kind of herded into this place where they see all these people that are all these weaponized people that they've kind of taken captive, and Bloodshot's body gets taken over by these nanites by this guy Nyx, who he thought was on his side kind of, and he takes control of him.
Betrays him.
Yeah, betrays him, and it was a really good issue. I enjoyed it. It's got me on board, and I'm definitely going to read the next issue.
Yeah, I was actually gonna put that down, but since I saw you put that, it was actually would have been my second under the radar. But I actually do have a under the radar comic book that I like to talk about. Robin Hood Vigilante issue number 5. This book was actually really, I gotta say, it's an excellent issue. Like, you have where Peacock's going after Robin, and Robin, who was had a what's that thing? Like, she had encountered with the mole men, like the underground men, and so to say. And the fight was like all over the place, and there was like an explosion where the robots who are destroying humanity as we speak that came into it. And you have Robin with the mole men working together, as well as the cops who are helping them as well, because cops don't like the way robots are destroying humans as well as executing Robin, and then Robin Hood actually. And then we have Peacock, who comes in because he was ordered by the mayor to kill her. And luckily, when we have Emmett, who didn't want to do his I won't transform, he actually did. And that's where they all disengaged. And of course, there's one more issue left of this issue where Peacock says, "This isn't the last you heard of me."
And Mike,
What?
Who the hell's Peacock?
The Peacock is one of the organizational people who was ordered by the mayor to kill Robin Hood. I knew you were going to ask me that.
I've never heard of this character, and I read Grimm Fairy Tales Universes.
He's new.
Oh, he's new. Okay.
He's new.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah. So then with everybody who saw the differences with Robin Hood now working with the mole men and the police officers as well, there's still dozens and thousands of robots that are taking over and causing chaos in the city. And he asked them if they want to shut down and get revenge, and all agreed on that. And that's where it was left off, on a huge cliffhanger to be continued. Excellent issue. I can't wait to see how it's all going to unfold in the next issue. And I'm enjoying Robin Hood nonetheless as well. So definitely a book you should definitely be picking up. You'll really enjoy it from Zenoscope. And that's all for the Under the Radar. So I guess someone will do big books. Yes, I did shave. Yes. Thank you.
I zoomed in, so.
Yes, thank you, Mike Manhattan. I did shave, and I mean, there's no work, so I as well shave it off, you know?
Mike messaged us, said his internet is messed up. He's trying to get it up and working.
So who's going to do the big books?
Well, I'll start it, I guess. I'll start it, and then we can go.
All right, so on to Chris with the big books.
All right, so we're going to start the big books and top fives, everyone, and hopefully Mike will be back before we get through at least one or two of these big books. Cable issue number 1. A lot of people didn't like the artwork to Cable issue number 1.
I will say I usually like this artist a lot, but the coloring was very bright for a Cable book.
It wasn't even just the brightness, just the style of the coloring, I think is what really bothered me. I went back and actually read it. And I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, well, the art isn't actually that bad. It's just the coloring.
It's the coloring.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's very sandy. That's the best way I was able to say. It looked orange, and it just was like, I don't know. It was weird. Going to the story, though, it felt like it felt like a lost episode of Krakoa. Like none of it felt like it mattered. It's just like, okay, what do the kids do on Krakoa when the adults are having orgies? But I mean, that's what they're doing. But yeah,
I like the sword and the lion with the sword in the foot.
I like that. I guess I like the ending, and that's why I'm like half chopping it, because I do want to see where that goes. And I think maybe it was just like not a great first issue. Doesn't mean it's not going to be a great series or a good series. I don't know if it's going to be a great series, but I'm going to give it another shot. But this first issue didn't really do it for me.
Yeah, I got the first issue physically, but I'm going to probably wait on the rest and see if I turn this into a trade. Because so far I've got 3 X books on trade. So we'll see if maybe I'll make Cable a trade if I like it.
I like the sword thing and the thing that happened at the end. I'm curious where that goes, like you, Kat. But the thorn and the lion's paw thing, that's where they go with it.
I mean, and this is a Cable book,
wow.
Remember. This is a Cable book, remember, of all things.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it's nowhere near my top 5.
Yeah. I don't, it'll depend on the week whether I pick this up or not again. So.
Gotcha. All right, I'm going to start something that I'm being called for a moment. Decorum issue number 1. Didn't like it. It's Hickman charts 3,000.
I didn't get to talk about this, right? So
yeah,
right.
You go first.
So you go first, Brent. We already did.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of charts, like you guys talked about it. So many. Yes, I see you. Oh, you're waving at the very
end.
I didn't notice the comment at first. I was like, what are you waving at me for?
You guys are friends, that's why.
Yeah. But no, the charts and everything, it was way overboard. I made a comment on the video that, he should just do a companion book if he's going to do that much, backstory into it. Just release a companion book. It would make it so much better because you wouldn't be interrupting your story constantly. I didn't mind like the core story. I was actually interested in the courier, the girl and the assassin, and like I could actually read a story about that and what happens with them. But all the other stuff around it just totally lost me. And I appreciate what they were trying to do artistically, but I just don't think it worked. So.
Yeah, I want to give it at least 1 or 2 more issues, because one thing I think we've learned from Hickman is that it takes a while for him to get going. And when he gets going, it could be really good, like X-Men. So I'm going to give it another shot, but this one didn't quite do it for me. It was, same thing. I kind of like the potential of Assassin Woman, but didn't really get much from it. It was really confusing. The only thing I really liked was the art, because that was just so unique. But
it was. I don't think it quite delivered the impact that they were trying to. At least not for me personally.
I agree. I think for most people it didn't. So
we're talking about Decorum, Mike. If you're there, I don't know if you're
Mike,
there.
And we talked about Cable.
I'm kind of here. I'm still having the same issues though.
Okay.
Are you on your Chrome?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on though.
You want to try your phone maybe?
I did, and it's not going to work right because I can't connect my mic from it, and then I can connect my mic, but when you're on your phone, like StreamYard has very limited things that you can do on the phone.
I wonder. I know it's not ideal, but I wonder if you went off camp. Never mind.
What were you gonna say though?
If you went off camera, if the connection would be better.
I guess we'll find out. I don't know what the best option is for that. We'll see. But yeah, Decorum. Any other thoughts on that?
I think I'm done with the series. I like his X-Men run. I don't think I could take an indie run. No, I don't think so.
His are very long too, because you had like that East to West book. Isn't that still going?
Yeah.
I mean, my only issue is that too many charts. Too much. I mean, even the art. I didn't like the beginning, and then Brant mentioned he liked the art.
And then you're like, yeah, of course I like the art. I like everything that Brant likes.
No, it was different art. The art I saw in the preview was completely different than what opened that book.
Yes, this time Chris is waving to a member in our chat.
Yeah.
AD3 Comics.
Yeah. So, and you are now in our raffle to win some comics. So if you guys haven't commented yet, please do.
Yeah.
But
thank you so much for all the viewers, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I like the artwork as the book continued on. I did not like the first 3 pages of art. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I love Hickman, but that one was just gibberish.
There you go.
Yeah. It was very all over the place. It was very hard to hook on to anything. And I mean, this is also coming from people that usually don't like Hickman. So I'm glad as someone who does like Hickman, you felt the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
So
means a lot.
So that was Decorum. And then we will finish and then go into our number 5 with Young Justice issue number 14. Or I'd like to call it, thank God we got away from that horrible Warlord artwork after this issue.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know why they felt the need to change the art to go to that world. They
had the same art. They had another artist for this other appearances here in this issue.
Yeah.
You didn't notice the Stephanie one, not Arrowette. Arrowette was John Timms. But this book's a mess, man. There's like 20 characters. They're all just trying to say something on a panel. They all have
their own special artist.
They do. I mean, there was only 2 artists, but it was all very abstract, I would say. And I love my Girl Step. I love my Dial H crew. I love Arrowette. I love Sideways. But honestly, they didn't need to be here because it's just like, what's going on?
My only question is, everybody forgot about Connor, yet Bart.
Everyone loves him.
Yeah, yet Bart runs around and goes to Arrowette, who's retired. It's Connor. And like, I know who Connor is. What do you mean Jim forgot who Connor was? I know who Connor is. All right, let's go save Connor. Okay.
Only Arrowette remembers.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I was just gonna say that double page spread where he was doing that and they had it like twirling. I thought that was cool. It was hard to follow, but it was cool. But yeah, that Skartaris stuff, the Warlord stuff was just awful. I hated that whole storyline, and I'm glad we're out of that. Mm-hmm. But I am curious about the cliffhanger.
That's the only thing that hooked me was
and that was one panel though. That's what's so hard is that I feel like this book has a tremendous amount of potential. There's some great characters. There's some even potentially good stories, but it's just all like Bendis gets so excited. He doesn't realize he has so many issues to tell this story. And it's just like, no, must be in this one issue. Must do everything in this one issue. And it's just a lot.
Yeah, we'll see. Next issue and then the beginning of the next arc are going to determine whether I stay on board with Young Justice. I see a few commenters talking about Ghost Rider. I love Ghost Rider. It's not in my top, but I did like Ghost Rider. And there was another book mentioned, Darth Vader. I think that's in our discussion. So
Ghost Rider was pretty good.
No, Darth Vader is not. So if you guys want,
Darth Vader will be
on our top 5.
Okay, yeah, it's on my as well. Okay, so and then Thor 4. Does anybody have Thor 4?
We're gonna talk about that after. That's the big book.
Yeah. So there you go. So that was leading into our number 5. So everybody, what was your number 5? You can put it in the chat. As far as me, my number 5 was my Under the Radar Ash. Oh, I keep saying Ash versus the Evil Dark. The Death to the Army of Darkness issue number 2. Kat, what was your number 5?
Mine was Incredibles 2 Slow Burn issue 2. Just a fun series, Dash doesn't have his powers and it's about everyone kind of realizing that they have to go slow and to defeat this villain, to kind of embrace their humanity. So I thought it was a fun issue.
All right, Brant.
Mine's actually Darth Vader, so that's why.
Wow. Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I like.
No, believe me, this is a hard week, dude.
I gave it.
Joking with you. This is a hard week for me too.
Yeah, I gave it. What did I give it? I gave it 4.5 stars. That tells you something.
Same.
Yeah. My top 5 is very high scores this week, which is unusual for me. But yeah, no, I really like this. It was obviously one of the theories out there as to who this Amidala character was. I like the direction that they went with that in the reveal and the way that all played out. And now they're both kind of teaming up to figure out what happened to Amidala, which I think is really cool. And I don't know, you get those flashbacks with Darth Vader. Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry about that.
I forgot that in the beginning. It's my fault. That was my fault.
Yeah, so you get those flashbacks with him, and you're thinking about his emotions towards her and everything, and it's just I love this period of we're seeing this insight into Darth Vader that's kind of leading to that turn at the end. So I love it. It's such a good issue.
I loved it too, and I'm glad that it was my top 2 theories. My first one was clone. My first guess was clone. My second guess was this. Third guess was going to be twin sisters. So it's cool. And it also plays into what we saw in episode 1, where she actually had a fake stand-in for her that looked like her, talked like her, acted like her, but it wasn't fully her.
Right.
So, and it kind of plays into that. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I read this book also this weekend. It's in my top.
Oh, crap. I forgot you actually read Darth Vader now again.
No, yeah. Like, I really enjoyed this issue of, like what we were talking about, finding out that it was actually Sabi, I think that's how you say her name, who was the Queen's double that looked like her, talked like her, and everything else. And yeah, it was just really a very good issue. And I like how now they're going to Naboo because she has like some records that were over there, or some clues that'll find out why they were in Padme's quarters and stuff like that. So it's going to be really awesome to see what they're going to find on Naboo for that issue. Or next issue. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mike. So what was your number 5?
Book that Brand talked about is Under the Radar, Bloodshot issue number 7.
All right. So we already talked about it. And if I'm reading correctly, I think Mike is actually not going to be able to make the rest of the show.
Yeah, sadly, his tech is really giving him an issue. So we're really sorry about that.
So for everybody watching on Comic Book Corner 2.0, we will be your hostess for the rest of the show. Hopefully you guys enjoy. It's a hostile takeover once again to the Comic Book Corner 2.0 channel as we continue on. Mike, somebody asked Mike to put his top 5 in.
Not so hostile, by the way.
If they really believe that we're a super hostile takeover,
I'm just clarifying. You never
know, right?
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Bounty Hunters issue number 1. I like this first issue a lot. I didn't expect to, even though Dr. Aphra showed up.
I didn't even mind that, honestly.
I mean, yeah. I forgot about her, really. To be honest, I stopped reading Star Wars halfway through. So with Dr. Aphra, kind of like I forgot about her character a lot. So seeing her here didn't affect me as much as I thought it would have. At first, it was like, oh my God, it's her. And then it was like, oh, not that bad.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I like the time period that this happens. Like when Boba Fett gets involved. And it's like, I'll make time. And you see the Carbonite Solo there. And it's like, oh, this time. That's cool. I like the way that they're tying this whole era of these Star Wars books together. It's just, and they're well written, great art throughout all the books so far, all 3 of them. So
I'm interested to see how Valance, who is the other bounty hunter who got screwed over by the Lash person. They showed there was like a whole bounty going on at the beginning of the issue. It's a whole group of bounty hunters working together, and then one of them ends up turning and killing the person who set the bounty out, and now basically bounties were put on all of their heads because he was some type of a huge underlord or something. So huge bounties were put out on all of their heads because of this one woman's decision to kill this person. And now the book mostly follows Valance, who's one of the bounty hunters who has this bounty now on his head because of what happened. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, we see Boba Fett come in. He was also part of that group. And it turns out that the person who did this, what was it? She was found, or she popped up somewhere?
Yeah, she popped up. She had been in hiding, and they finally found her, and now that's why all these other bounty hunters are going after her.
Right.
And I'll say this: if you like The Mandalorian, you'll like this issue, this run. I think because I think it's very similar in the way that they're telling the stories.
I hope they release Mandalorian on DVD. We don't know if Disney.
Sure, they will at some point.
I hope so.
They want money.
I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it a lot. Just fell out of my top 5. Again, I loved all my books this week. Very hard to choose a top 5.
I only really liked my first, loved my pick of the week, but that was me for this week. I know.
Now, what else do we have? Go Power Rangers, which I did not know came out. Did my review. And then thanks to Kat telling me it did come out, I found out it did come out and I read it. This was a fun read. It was a real fun read this week. Wouldn't you agree, Kat?
Yeah, I like this issue. I do think the thing with Go is that we know the beats already, so it's a little bit on the slower side, but I enjoyed the emotional moments overall and how they met Kaya, especially now we know who Kaya is. I like seeing Grace and her mecha robot. So yeah, it was a fun issue. It's a little forgettable because trying to swim through, I'm like, what? Because I read this a week ago. Like, what did happen in this issue? Because kind of all put together.
Yeah, because it's a prequel to what's happening right now in Mighty Morphin. So when this book ends, when it ends, they're shutting the book down. But when this ends, it will end right at where Mighty Morphin story arc last year began.
Yeah, and I think it's a good way to end it. So I've been really liking Mighty Morphin. Also, it was announced we're getting a Ranger Slayer one-shot with the original team of Go-Go, so Dan Mora and Ryan. So very excited for that as well when that comes out.
I think one Power Ranger book is good enough for right now also. I mean, if we want minis or something, we could have that instead.
I agree.
Brent, did you like Go-Go? Of course you did.
Yeah, he loved it.
He loved it.
My favorite comic of all time.
There you go. It's his number 1 pick this week, so he's not allowed to tell us his number 1 because it was Go-Go. So speaking of picks, our number 4s. Kat, what was your number 4?
Mine was, surprisingly enough, Ant-Man issue 3. The beginning is still, Cassie being a little brat, but I like the ending where we get to see her look up to her dad once again, and she says, Spider-Man was jealous of you. He's like, what? No, he wasn't. He's like, yeah, he was. So I had fun with that. I still don't really love the villain of the story, but it's an okay series. It's just kind of there for me, but I thought this issue had better beats than they're better beats than the last issue. So that's
better, gooder.
The more better, gooder beats of issue 3.
There you go. My number 4 was Stealth issue number 1.
Mine too, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, cool.
And that's Mike's under the radar, by the way, since he can't be here.
I know he really liked it. I actually I messaged him on Facebook to see if he'll give the top 5. So hopefully he read that or not. Let's see. Not yet. So.
He might have given up and just kind of thrown his computer against the wall and said,
maybe,
in the morning.
Yeah.
But I was surprised. So everybody was picking this book up. So I was interested in seeing what the big deal with this book was. And I will say, I don't know if the readers were supposed to believe at first it was the son that was Stealth.
I think so, yeah.
I thought so. And then when you get that little twist towards the end of the book that it's not the son that's Stealth, it's the father who has dementia, who really doesn't have dementia. It turns out the suit is screwing with his brain, and he's forgetting everything, and the Men in Light are going to be coming to fix him.
Yeah.
So I guess the Men in Black are going to erase his memory. The Men in Light are going to save his memory.
About halfway through, maybe a third of the way through, I kind of thought it was his dad instead, and I thought it was misdirection. I love the way that they did it, because every time the son left, Stealth appeared. Yeah, so and all that happened, and then I also like that Stealth is just everybody's like, oh, it's stealth, and then he's like beating the crap out of people, and they're like,
that's what it was. Yeah, when he threw the guy through the window, I was like, wait, that's like the father. And that's where I started putting pieces together. Like, is it the dad?
Yeah, and then all the cops show up, but he doesn't think they're cops. He thinks that it's like, oh, they called in reinforcements, and he's like beating up cops and stuff. He doesn't realize it and all this stuff. It was really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way that they dealt with his dementia too, and how worried his son was about him, and it was. I thought it was a really solid read.
I did too, absolutely. And Frankie Gonzalez asked about our thoughts on Decorum. We did talk about that a little while back. If you'd like to rewind the video a little bit, you can see all of our thoughts on Decorum. I don't think any of us truly liked it, though.
That's, I think, a good answer.
I think a very good answer. So that was mine and Brant's. Michael, what was your number 4?
Mine was Rye, issue number 5. Excuse me. So I felt this to be a fast read and an awesome issue at the same time. It just talks about, just to keep it short and sweet, Rai and Gala, the Eternal Warrior, who is fighting off against the Red King's army, as well as Rajan, who is destroying the Offspring. And Rajan, who destroys the Offspring, saw that it wasn't actually the one that the Red King was looking for. Oh, no, not the Red King. What was his name?
The Blue King.
Bloodfather. The one Bloodfather was looking for. So with that, after all the fight and everything happened, Rai actually says that after all this is done, he's going to actually kill Rajan because he's just using him to destroy the Offspring, because what Rai wants to do is that he wants to finish the Fiend Father once and for all for good. And he wants to also try to be human, because when he's human, when the time comes, he wants to know how to die. So, because he can't die with his form as the way he is, so that's why he's trying to find a way to be human, and by extinguishing Father once and for all, and that's to be continued. But yeah, definitely some heartfelt moments in this one, and really bunch of action, and I really enjoyed the artwork as well in this comic book.
We have a question from Frankie. Did anyone read Marvel Voices issue 1?
Nope.
I didn't read it. I know there was like a story with Carolina and Nico and all them, and I read that like 2-page story, but I didn't read any of the other stuff.
No. So that was everybody's number 4. Let's move back on to top books. Amazing Spider-Man 41. Amazing Spider-Man 41.
Amazing Spider-Man. This issue was very exposition-y. I actually was pretty disappointed with it. I was really looking forward to seeing Boomerang, but I just feel like everything was explained to me, like explained at me. And I didn't quite love this issue.
It was, yeah, they were recapping the Lifeline tablet and his whole journey, his whole connection to it, I guess.
But the whole main part of the story was that Boomerang was explained to Spider-Man about why about the tablet that he had, the Lifeline tablet, actually, and how Kingpin is one of his goons actually has one of the pieces, and he's actually going after it, so that because it gives like unlimited power, the Lifeline tablet, and Boomerang's trying to say he doesn't want it to get in the wrong hands, which is Kingpin. So just the whole thing about what happens at the end when things just go all out chaos everywhere, that left us at a huge to be continued, and it was a great and fun issue also.
Still don't know who that character is at the end of the book.
Which one?
Yeah, which you mean in the main story, right? Not the epilogue or whatever.
The main
I did not like the epilogue. That was boring.
Yeah, the epilogue was boring.
I don't know who that guy is either.
I don't either. I tried to figure it out. I could not.
The funny story is I was looking for trades because of all that's going on. I wanted to buy some trades to read while I'm in the house. And I think it was a Defenders book. It was Marvel Knights Defenders. And that character actually was in the beginning of that book. And I'm like, give me a name. Give me a name. Oh my God. This never happens. I actually see the character again. Give me no name.
No name at all. Yeah, this is a weird issue though. Even that cliffhanger, I'm like, I don't care. Yeah.
Well, the only good thing about the issue is that just Spider-Man settled his difference, decided to work with Boomerang after.
Yeah, but that happened a while ago already. Like they have decided issues ago. So there wasn't a lot of new information besides this explaining of a tablet. I'm like, why should I care about this tablet?
Well, I mean, I was doing research for Chris trying to figure out who this character was, and it was a story arc back in like issue 75 of Amazing Spider-Man. It goes way back.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's some classic Spider-Man stuff. So I found that interesting that they were going back to it. But yeah, it was a very rushed scavenger hunt, as they said, and Bavarian kind of hinted at. But it's continuing on for at least 2 more issues because that guy that we saw at the end is on the cover of the next 2 issues. But thankfully, Ryan Otley is actually doing the art on those. I think maybe. We'll see.
I mean, at least he did this issue. JD3 said that he's gonna go to sleep because he has a bad headache. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
For joining. Where your headache goes away and feel better.
Yeah, but not the best issue of this run, but still. Yeah.
And then we have the Dollhouse. The Dollhouse Family issue number 5. It wasn't 6. 6 is the last issue.
Sorry.
This was a really cool setup for the last issue, though, because we get more we get a background on all the characters or all the family members that are in the dollhouse, how they got to the house and what they were before they were sucked into the house. The mother wants to get her daughter back, so she traces the house, not only who was sucked into the house, but where the house's origin was. And it turns out she owns that house anyway. It's part of her family. So all these little recaps we were getting or flashbacks in the deep past, apparently it's connected somehow to the mother. And apparently the house is made with leftover placenta because it wanted to be born. Yeah, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions at the end of this book. That's all I'm going to say. I loved it. This is the book that I'm definitely physically getting in trade. Definitely. Loving it so far.
Ron wants the book as well. And we know Mike.
Digitally, it's very good, Ron. You'll love it when it's fully complete.
We know that Mike Spider-Slayer really likes that book as well. So I'm guessing it's probably somewhere in his top 5.
Oh, definitely. It probably was. And I'm the only one here that reads it. So we'll move on to our number 3. Yes, our number 3 is Michael. What's your number 3?
Just talked about Amazing Spider-Man issue number 41.
All right. Mine goes to Star Wars, The Rise of Kylo Ren, the final issue. This fell under my radar, and I read the 3 previous books last week to get ready for the last issue this week. It was a sellout series. So good. The decline of Ben Solo into darkness, into the dark side, where he gets his kyber crystal. He becomes the leader of the Knights of Ren after he kills their leader, and their leader killed one of his friends, and he killed the other one. So basically, this was his literal path to the darkness in one issue. This was where the final straw was pulled. And the one thing I really loved here was he pulled his crystal out, his kyber crystal, and he, instead of changing it like finding another one, he crushes it and turns it red. And it explains the 2 exhausts on his lightsaber. Because he crushes his crystal, it becomes 2 shattered pieces. So if he just turns it on a lightsaber, it'll shoot out and it'll explode. So the 2 sides are actual exhausts that allow for all the extra energy to shoot out without the lightsaber shutting down or burning out. Loved it. Cool. I loved it. And especially with the Rise of Skywalker, where this is where he descends into darkness, and then the Rise of Skywalker, we get to see him ascend back into Ben Solo, just to have the entire Skywalker family line disappear, and then Rey takes up the name for some reason. Sure. Definitely could have used a better director on these last 3 Star Wars movies.
or writer.
All right, both would have been well. Yeah, both would have been good. But as far as this book is concerned, excellent writing. Love the story. Got the trade already pre-ordered. Kat, number 3.
Mine was Mortal Hulk issue 32. I like this issue. It's a little bit more of a somber issue where we get to see how media, in a way, is affecting people's minds. And this villain in particular utilizes media to pretty much shape these people's identities and forget about their own thoughts. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It's a little bit of a slower issue compared to maybe previous ones, but it really picked up for me in the back half of the issue and brought up some interesting topics.
Okay. I'm 50-50 with this issue. I was a little lost. I had to read it twice because I was kind of like, has Hulk been mind controlled this whole time or just recently also?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's especially hard because he's like kind of going deeper and deeper into madness. So it's like, does it even matter if he's being controlled?
That's what I don't want, because if you remember when they separated Hulk from Bruce Banner slowly went into madness.
Oh, he's already there. He's already Joe Fix-It. So
yeah, well, there's a lot of personalities within Bruce Banner's head. It's kind of scary. Brant, what was your number 3?
Book we already talked about, Star Wars Bounty Hunters.
Oh,
nice.
I thought you were about to say Rise of Kylo Ren. I was about, okay.
I don't read that one.
Okay, then. So we're going on X-Men issue number 8. Who'd like to talk about that?
I could talk about it. X-Men, I was reading a comment too, hon. There's a couple of comments.
Yeah. All right, so let's do some comments, then we can go back to it.
Yeah, well, first question is from Adam Murray. Hey, guys, dumb question, second-time viewer. Is this live? Yes, this is a live show. Yes. So we are doing this completely live. Thank you for watching.
It's not a dumb question because you have the premieres that happen on YouTube now, so you never know if it's a live show or a premiere. So totally understood.
Always live every Tuesday at 10. We start, so check that out. And then the other two questions here. Herald Thor with the extra power cosmic he took from Galactus more powerful than Rune King Thor. I think he is. Like, who's more powerful, Herald Thor or Rune King? I've never read either, so
this one's pretty powerful. I mean, he forcibly takes the power cosmic from Galactus whenever the heck he feels like it. I think that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So I guess that's your answer. And then I don't know if this is a question or not, but Sean B said, so how about all my books this week were Marvel books? There were a lot of Marvel books.
I had a total of 3 DC books.
Yeah, Kat and I were actually talking about that. Yeah, Kat had 1 and I had, what did I say, 2?
I think you had 2.
3
or you had the Flash. You had the Flash and Young Justice.
Flash and Young Justice.
Batman, and I'm sorry, I have 4. Because
Batman wasn't this week.
No, Batman wasn't this week.
Batman's Grave. The Batman.
Batman's Grave.
Okay.
Yeah,
I only read that when I have the free time, and for some reason, all 6 issues I've had the free time for them so far.
I actually had 3 because I read Terrifics. But that's it.
There you go. Yeah, well, I had the 1. I was like, that's it, only Young Justice. So yeah, we had a lot of Marvel books this week, and then this coming week, a lot of Marvel books again. So another question. Are you all picking up books in person this week? Not sure if it's worth the risk, but this is actually a really great question. We are going to do a topic video about coronavirus and really dive into all that, but we were able to pick up our books today. My store has been very sanitary. We all have to wipe our hands when we get there with Purell. So I have picked up my books, but with our city, we might be in a lockdown, so that might not be as possible. So, but yeah, Bavarian, do what you feel is necessary for you. I don't think you should risk it if you feel anxious about it. You know, the comics will be there. You could call your shop to pick them up, and I'm sure they'll understand, or you get your books digitally.
At this point in time, if I'm not reading it digitally, I'm getting it delivered either once a month or, like I mentioned before, I'm making extra orders every week on Midtown, and I have them shipped to me at this point. So for me, it's delivered. Depending on if the mail still moves, I get all my books in the mail.
Yeah.
But if Diamond doesn't distribute their books, no one's getting their books. In shop, out of shop, any shop, no shop.
I would say they're probably going to distribute until post office is closed, which I don't think will happen. But Variant, actually, I just thought about this. A good thing to do, call your comic store and see if they do deliveries, or see if they have another option besides going to your store, because a lot of stores are doing that. So that's a a great way to do it.
Yeah.
This is another question about the show.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention that it was tied. Chad's shop, you can only go in by appointment only, which I guess is smart. It limits how many people are in the place at the same time.
Yeah.
So
it's really smart.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'll keep my book shipped to me for now.
So Pacific Standard Time, it starts at 7.
Yeah.
So it'll be 7 o'clock.
There you go. And you don't have to make that your last question. You are welcome to ask as many questions as you want. But going back to X-Men, the Brood.
Yes.
Who's dumb enough not to realize they had a Brood King egg? That's what I want to know after they.
The New Mutants have been high since issue 1.
That's true.
That's true. They've been high for a while.
I was happy to see Brew back though. I missed Brew.
Loved it.
That was
best panels.
Yeah, that was like that made the book for me. It's like Brew. I love Brew. So
and especially when he freaks out, he's so calm. He's like, let me think of the words to say this here. Young woman, are you insane?
I love Brew. What I didn't love was that everybody was like, I'm too busy to listen to you. Oh, Brood. Oh, okay, you got my interest now. And that happened like 2 or 3 times. Like,
I guess when he's talking, sometimes this is important.
Yeah.
So I liked parts of this issue. Like I liked the first time Cyclops and Ileana were like, oh, Captain Commander. But then the fourth time, I'm like, okay, we get it. It's like military. And then I personally hate Cosmic Marvel, as you guys know. Not a fan. And this is so cosmic. And I'm like, I don't know. Not really my thing.
Can I ask, how many times does Cyclops' father get his ass kicked and imprisoned?
Every issue he's in.
I like the fact that the Brood are back though, because I mean the Brood aren't my favorite, but at the same time it's been a while since we've seen them, and it's kind of cool. They're dealing with an invasion on Krakoa, which is, it's a different story than we've been seeing. So I appreciated that part of it, but I don't know.
It's supposed to slip something in their drink. Oh man.
True.
This is true.
We also have a question from Chad who says, has anyone else disliked Spider-Man Daily Bugle? I'm pretty sure I'm dropping it. We all hated it with issue 1 except
Michael.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
All right. Was there any other questions we missed?
No, Alan's talking with Bavarian about comics and buying. Hi, Alan, by the way. I love how he popped in just to talk to Bavarian about comics. No, hello. Hi, Alan. Godzilla.
He's been here the whole time. And yes, Tavia, we do see your number 2. He's
always watching us.
I'm just going to spotlight it now that way. But please try to keep it when we're at because it's hard to scroll back.
We're not there yet, Tavia, because we still have the Flash 751. I love the artwork in this book. I love the double cross with Godspeed. When did Godspeed become a hero, though? Because the last time I read Flash, and this was a while ago, Godspeed was stealing Speed Force from people, killing people, and totally not on Flash's side. Totally not somebody Flash could trust. But apparently, in this issue, it's like, I told you before you could trust me. I just needed to know that this guy was crooked, and now we're going to stop him together, man. Bro.
So, obviously, between that point and this point,
I know. When did it happen and how did it happen?
I have no idea because I stopped reading it too.
Up to this point, okay.
Yeah, I stopped reading it a while back during that same period. I think we stopped around the same time, actually. So yeah, that was a little weird. I didn't understand why they were on the same team either, but I like the turn. And I like that Iris recognized who Paradox is.
Hero during the Black Hole arc. Thank you, Tevia. Go ahead, Brent.
I like that Iris recognized who Paradox is, but we don't see it. So it's like, oh, it's somebody we know then. Okay. So that was interesting. I thought she was going to tell him, but obviously she didn't get a chance to. It was a pretty good issue. I'm actually enjoying this arc and these past 2 issues. So I'm kind of back on board for now. I'm not loving the art as much as you, but the story's okay. And
I'm liking it, and I like the ending. Is that his mother? Did Flash die? I doubt it.
Isn't it? I feel like it's always a cliffhanger for Flash. Is that his mother? Question.
Oh, it always is.
Always about his mother.
Such a strong role, but
Speaking of that, the only person that's ever defeated Paradox is Reverse Flash. They revealed that in this issue.
So how are they going to defeat him?
Yeah.
I'm still shocked that Joshua Williamson was from issue 1 still on this series. Is that the only person left from the original titles?
I don't
think
know.
So.
But yeah, he's still chipping away at it. So
yeah,
good for him.
Chad, same thing. I started up with Flash 750 and really liking it.
Exactly. Same.
Yep. Exact same. So with that being said, let's go on to our number 2s. My number 2 is a book we already talked about, The Dollhouse Family, issue number 5. Kat.
Mine was Hawkeye Freefall, issue 4. I thought this was a really solid issue. I liked the interactions between his old teammates. I like that there's like 3 clones of him, and he's just trying for people not to know he's Ronin. Even though, like, at this point, I'm even confused why he's Ronin. Like, I can't even keep track. But yeah, it's a fun series. I feel like it kind of got better as it went along, and it's just like something in your pile that you could just have, again, a fun time and not think too much about it.
Exactly. That's what I like about it too. And I thought it was funny that Daredevil actually didn't know that he was Ronin.
Yeah, like, that's cool.
Daredevil of all people, and they play with the whole, is he blind? He's not blind. There's no way he can be blind. That whole thing. And I love seeing like US Agent and Mockingbird and all those in there.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Both of them, surprisingly.
It was cool. It was throwback, and I appreciated the nostalgia there. But I just like you, I have fun with the series. I can just sit back and enjoy it. It's one of those kind of books.
Oops.
Yeah, I agree. And I think and also it helps that it's a mini series. If this is an ongoing, I probably would have dropped it a while ago. But since I know it's a beginning, middle, and end, it's so much easier to have fun with it.
Yep.
So, Brant, what was your number 2?
Well, I agree with Sean there. Mine is Avengers of the Wastelands, issue number, was it 3? Yeah.
3. Just fell out of my top 5, but I'm hooked on it. I got all the single issues up to this point.
Such a good book. This is 5-star book for me.
Wow.
I absolutely
what is your number 1?
Yeah, it's also a
6-star
5-star book, obviously. I love this issue though. You have them interrogating Baron Blood, and then this new Captain America just chops his head off, and it's like, what the heck? And he there's been tension between the Ant-Man and Captain America since they were introduced, and neither one of them trust the other, and because he used to be a doomed soldier, this Captain America guy, and you just don't know what's going on, and Danny's trying to keep the peace and trying to keep things in order, and all this stuff, and you've got Doom on the hunt trying to kill everybody, and he finds out Dr. Octopus is already dead, so he's not a problem. And then Cap gets his shield, like he mentioned. They give him the actual Captain America Steve Rogers shield because he'd been carrying a kind of a replica around. So now he thinks he's really Captain America at this point, and it's gonna be interesting to see if his ego takes control here. I don't know. You still don't know what side he's on, so it's just such a good book.
I agree, 100%. I've fallen for this series completely. It's a mini though, right? It's only like 6 issues.
I don't know how many issues, but yeah, they're all so far. They've been maxi series. So
it could be, either way, I'm hooked. Either way, I'm hooked on it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Mike.
Number 2 is Darth Vader issue number 2. We already talked about it.
Okay. Going back to the big books, we only have one more book, and that's Thor.
Yeah.
Thor,
literally our title.
Yeah.
Thor loses his sight. Well, bye, Mike. Screw you too. Thor loses his sight.
I didn't read that book.
Did you say I'm in the bathroom?
No, he said he'll be back.
He said he'll be back.
You can go to the bathroom. Mute yourself, son.
So yes. Anyway, Thor goes blind, and I missed it.
Art.
Yeah, what? I said Thor goes blind, and I missed it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Brant did not know he was going blind.
Oh, yeah.
But are you confused?
I don't know. I was waiting for Brant to finish. I thought he had.
I did finish. I said it 3 times.
I know, but your picture was still moving.
Oh, well then
your
you're
audio
on a
didn't
delay.
catch up with your picture. Now you're caught up. On my end, at least, your audio wasn't caught up.
Okay.
So, with that being said, I love the art in this book, though. I really do. And I like Thor with the Herald, and he kind of has his own rules. And one of the cool things, unlike Silver Surfer, before he lets Galactus eat a planet, He brings all the inhabitants to Asgard. So he basically saves them. So no one truly dies, just their planet. And he gives them paradise.
I feel bad for Asgard. Like, how can they fit all those people?
Well, did it get bigger? Didn't they? Don't they have like a bigger Asgard now?
Multiple planets. Like, how do they feed all those people and like let them live?
I'm not sure.
They're in the gods universe. Who knows?
Right. It doesn't matter.
He didn't save this planet though.
It's Thor. What?
He didn't save this last planet though.
No, the last planet, Galactus got impatient. It was like, I ain't asking permission for nobody. I'm gonna eat this right now. And Thor covered his eyes and lost his sight.
Yeah, I didn't understand how he lost his sight. I had to read that twice.
I read it 4 times and I still don't know. I just know that he's wearing it over his eyes now.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden Galactus starts eating the planet and Thor just like rips a cloth off and covers his eyes and like he's in the dark now. And it's like, what the? Why is he blind? I don't understand.
Is he purposely blinding himself to what Galactus is doing? Maybe, or it has something to do with the Black Winter or the Power Cosmic. I don't know. Either way,
well, Genesis also did not know he lost his sight, so it must have been.
It was a very small thing. It was 2 panels towards the end of the book. He rips the cloth off, puts it over his thing, and there's a caption that says, "But he'll be in darkness now," and something like that. It was weird. But aside from that, I thought it was another solid issue of this book. I love the fact that he just owns Galactus. He just takes and gives. He can give the power back too. Like when he was fighting Beta Ray Bill last issue, he just gave it back. It's like, okay, we'll do this as a fair fight, and then just takes it right back. And Galactus is like, "You took my power cosmic," and he's like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah, I'm Thor, bitch. I'm gonna be your herald. You're gonna give me my herald power.
I love that aspect of it.
And well, the one thing we skirted over, Loki was able to lift up Mjolnir.
Yes, he held it in his hand, and he's like, "Interesting. That was like what?" So yeah, Loki is either becoming worthy, or the hammer is not what it used to be, which could explain why Thor is not.
Serenity just explained it. You can't look at the Black Winter or else you die immediately, so he covered his eyes.
Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense. So, yeah. And we did get to see a glimpse of Black Winter in this issue as well.
We did, the last page.
Yeah. Interesting.
That explains it.
We also have a comment from Serenity. This is the second time in a row that someone has complimented your haircut, Brant. So that was from last week.
I didn't even notice. Hey, what's up?
There's your haircut.
Yes.
And I do agree, Bavarian. I actually was having a conversation with one of my friends. I'm like, I don't know when I can go get a haircut. And
this is Cat for the next 12. This is Cat for the next 6 months.
I'm more worried about my roots than like growth in my hair. It's just gonna be very black my hair, so I gotta deal with that. But I can't go get a haircut because for us it takes us much longer and it's a much more intimate setting.
You're gonna see Kat like we've never seen her before.
I know, just like completely black hair.
Yeah,
very interesting. So let's get on to
wait 1 second. Mike left his top 5 in the chat for us.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Mike's top 5 thus far until we get to number 1. Number 5 was Avengers of the Wasteland. Viv is back. I was right. She would return. Great stuff in there with Captain America's shield. Number 4, Amazing Spider-Man 41. The issue was so funny, and the plot was straight from the 90s cartoon when it came to the tablet. Number 3, Dollhouse Family. How the dollhouse was created was pretty gross. However, I loved it. Number 2, Venom issue number 24, which is Venom Island. Wow, talk about an insane issue. This is true. This is very, very true. And now we're on to our number 1s, and while I'm here, Stealth issue number 1 was not expecting that direction in the issue. Caught me by total surprise. Cool. Agree with Mike. Agree. And my number 1 is a book we already talked about, which was Darth Vader issue number 2. So, Kat, what was your number 1?
So your number 1 was Darth Vader, you said?
Ish.
Okay, you're the only one who went. All right. Mine was Snot Girl. What are we up to? Is she 15? Because my girl Lottie, man, she's got a lot going on for herself. She's in a forest fire right now. She's dealing with life.
And she's been delayed until further notice. Brand
for much further notice.
Marvel Spider-Man Black Cat Strikes issue 3.
So good, wasn't
It
it?
was so good. This series, man, if you're not reading it, go read it. This is so good. It's in the Gamerverse, but you deal with this whole thing with Mary Jane and Black Cat, and you get a few flashbacks in here and there, and Peter has to admit to her that he might have a kid by Black Cat, and it like throws Mary Jane's world into just like, because she had this whole thing in the past where they got together where he started dating her 2 weeks after they broke up, and it just brought all these memories back, and she doesn't know if she can do this anymore. And then in the long run, Pete finds out that Black Cat was playing him the whole time and there is no kid. And so he just basically destroyed his relationship with Mary Jane over this lie just so Black Cat could steal something. It was so good. Such a good issue. Such a good series.
Man, that sounds like drama.
Yeah, it is.
It's also part of the DLC in the game. So if you have the game and you have all the DLC,
you just get all that drama.
You just get all that drama that you can interact with. Mike, you're number 1.
Robin Hood Vigilante issue number 5. We already talked about it.
I know.
Yeah. Wanted to make sure. Okay, and with that is it for the top 5 and our spotlight. So now we go on to my original segment, which is the chop block, chopping books left, right, and all over. And I'm chopping Decorum like there ain't no tomorrow, baby. There ain't no tomorrow. Goodbye, Decorum.
I love how a week has changed your opinion. Like,
I literally said on my review, Kat, that I reread it before my review, and I was so done with the book because I was like, why am I reading this? I'm not having fun. The chart's too much. I have enough. I love his X-Men. Stick with that. So I was just done with it. I'm just done. So, Kat, what are you chopping this week?
Well, we have a question from Frankie. Did you get your Nightwing issue 70? There's been a debate in our group if issue 70 even came out.
It came out this week.
Yeah, it came out today, and then Go-Go came out last week that Chris was confused for. I didn't get it because, like, I'm lucky I got my comics. I wasn't trying to ask for. I wanted to leave, so I was just like, "Thank you, bye." So it wasn't. Nightwing's usually not on my pull list. So I'm
trying to get friends to pick it up for me. Obviously, Kat couldn't find it, so I'm hoping.
No, there was no opportunity to.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that somehow I'll get it. So what are you chopping?
I'm chopping Decorum half chop. So I am going to give it one more issue to see where that goes. And then Cable also a half chop, mostly because I was intrigued by the cliffhanger. But the next issue doesn't do it for me. I will be dropping it.
Gotcha. Brand?
I got 3 half chops.
3 half chops. So whole chop and a half.
Yeah, the Decorum's a half chop, or maybe like a 3/4 chop. I don't know yet. Cable half chop, and then Transformers. It's getting back to that point where I dropped off before, where you have so many characters and so many things going on, you can't follow it and you can't make sense of it. And this particular run didn't start like that. It started scaled down and you could follow it and everything, but it's slowly gotten back to this point and it's losing me. So we'll see.
Michael?
None.
You're all good.
Yeah, I was happy with all the 5 books I read this week. There was not any disappointment.
Mike needs to read more books so he could chop some finally. Moving on to Brent.
Really?
With key issues.
He doesn't need to chop any. If he's enjoying his books, that's cool.
I know, so he should read.
I wish I was enjoying all mine.
I wish we didn't have to chop every week.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
Isn't it funny? Like when this segment first started, I'm like, we're not gonna chop every week. Every week we got something to chop.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't have to read Decorum because we were talking about it last week, I probably wouldn't have read it at all, and I wouldn't have had anything to chop this week.
We're so sorry. We had 200 views, so it was worth it.
Oh yeah, I had a good time discussing the book. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't have traded that away for the world. All those charts. I mean, I have them still embedded in my head. Those maps and everything.
Oh yeah, that the whole entire double page spread of maps is my favorite thing ever to be.
I'll tell you, any artist that works with Hickman is the happiest person in the world because he only has to do about 10 pages of a book.
Honestly, like true, but whoever their graphic designer is, like, oh my god. Pay me more.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me the money you're not giving the artist.
Honestly, I think he might do that himself.
Really?
I think he did the X-Men one, so he might be doing it himself.
That's like pretty good. Like, good for you. I wish all writers had artistic talent like Jonathan Hickman, because that's not easy. And that's not being sarcastic. Like, I'm
no, seriously
saying that.
I can promise that I will never have 300 charts in one Celestial.
He's a very patient.
I promise you, not one. Is he? Yes, he is a patient, very patient man. I'm curious about his own like writing philosophies, I guess. I don't know if I would say philosophies, but like, what does he do in a day to write? Like, I definitely want to know. He makes
a bunch of charts, and then he actually writes the story.
I think he sets 1 week off for just charts.
Man, if he makes charts, can you imagine if he makes charts to go in the book? How many charts he has, like mapping out his stories? Oh my goodness, he's got whiteboards everywhere.
It's like you open up a door to this secret room, and he's got like papers all pinned to the wall.
Yeah, exactly. Streams like going here to there.
He's like that meme where he's just like, "This is my."
You see that music playing, like that horror music, like, oh my god, what did I just walk into?
Yeah,
more like Halloween theme music.
It's like Jonathan Hickman's mind. That's yeah. Anyway,
there is a chart and map in one of his books about his mind.
Really?
No.
Okay. I was like, which book is this?
This was the same show where we found out Grant Morrison was in a My Chemical Romance video.
Yeah, that's true. Crazy stuff. And somebody said he's old enough to be Gerard Way's dad, so who knows?
You really don't.
So let's talk about some key issues. Books that came out actually today. So, Kat already knows what she's looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to all this. You know what I'm looking forward to? Right? I'm not even looking forward to this story. I'm just looking forward to looking at this cover all day long. Bam! Guess who that is?
The one cover I didn't get.
Guess what other cover I got? Guess what other cover I got? Oh, let me see if I can find it. Bam! You know why? Because Stephanie is also on that cover.
So this would be the Robin 80th anniversary 100-page spectacular.
It's Stephanie's anniversary.
Stephanie's anniversary. The least amount of Robin time. But it's her anniversary. Okay.
It is. Yeah. She does have a story. I'm happy about it. I can actually talk about this. She does have a story, but not all the Robins do.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
They limited some of the Robins.
No Carrie Kelly stories in there, huh?
Nope. They could only fit one woman. It was Stephanie Brown.
I'm okay with no Carrie Kelly. It's okay.
It would be messed up if there was Carrie Kelly and no Stephanie Brown.
I would riot.
I know you would.
I would be like, I'm going in front of the DC offices. No one's there because the coronavirus is out. But I'd be
just throwing eggs at the office, and people looking at you like, "There's no more in the store." It's like,
why are you throwing the eggs? We need the eggs.
You know what's so funny too? I have a feeling they only put Stephanie in it because they knew people would be pissed off. I don't think they wanted her in the book. They're just like, shit, we need her in the book. Anyways.
Tevi said something about Robin. I was distracted. Anyway, speaking of DC, DCeased Unkillables #2. I don't read this, so Mike's not here.
Yeah,
I'm reading it. I enjoyed the first issue. I'm looking forward to the second.
Okay. I gotta make sure there's no books that just Mike wanted to talk about. So okay, yeah, I think we're good. Well, Aquaman, I'll just mention really briefly because that's just me and Mike. I'm just curious to see where Aqua Baby goes.
Do we know what the baby's name is?
I don't think so.
Aqua Baby.
Oh, I can say that. Oh man, I could say so much because books are actually out. Yeah. I believe you do find out in this issue. So I just thought they announced it already, but they definitely said no. Like that's a name.
Yeah, because I think we were making fun of we were coming up with stupid names. And
the name is definitely announced.
Okay, so we find out Aqua Baby's name.
Godzilla.
I don't remember it, honestly. I don't remember what the name was, but I just remember thinking oh, that's a weird name.
Yeah, it probably is weird. It's Dolphinette. Yeah, after Dolphin. It's really Dolphin's baby. I don't know what's going on. Batman #91 comes out as well.
Yeah,
I haven't read that one yet.
It didn't sell out in a month.
Yeah.
No.
Well, now it's sold out, but it wasn't when I pre-ordered it.
Yeah. Nightwing is not on our list. by the way, because I didn't realize it came out this week. So if you want to talk about it, Chris, I don't know.
I would love to get it because it's the beginning of the Joker War. It has nothing to do with the freaking first appearance of a costume that's going to get undone in less than half a year.
You might be able to get it now that no one wants to go to a store.
That's true.
So
I'm not going to risk going out and getting sick for an issue number.
No, I don't think you should go, but I think stores are going to be a bit more desperate to get rid of their books.
So send Michael, you're saying. Michael, I need you to go.
I would wait a couple of days, though, because I think they still will want to wait to see who's going to come into the shop.
Of course. I'll just keep an eye on Midtown for the first printing. If not, I have a couple of people who will
that's in Midtown's the only place I feel like it won't matter because everything's mail.
Yeah, but what's in the store sometimes goes back to the warehouse.
Oh, true.
You know, there are other online shops that you could look.
Yeah, they want $70.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't looked.
Comics.
They don't have a website, Michael.
T-Fall, maybe? I don't know.
If anyone can find me a cover price issue number 70 of Nightwing, I'll take the variant. The variant's gorgeous. I'll take the variant first, honestly.
I don't really
share the link in the Dark Avenger Nation group page on Facebook.
It means nothing to me. But if you can find it for Chris.
I just want it for the start of the Joker War. I don't even care about what's in like the first appearance because it's not going to matter. He's going to go back to being Nightwing eventually.
I mean, he's been Rick Grayson for a while, so who knows?
It's about time. I mean, we get Dick Grayson back.
So
this is a good question before we go into Chad Fisher asks, okay, I mean, not that I think we can actually count this, but how many books are your monthly pull list? Do you try to stay under a certain number? I don't know. I don't try to stay under a certain number. That just kind of stays that way because we drop books that we don't particularly enjoy. Like if I'm not finding enjoyment in it, I'm going to drop it. But from last I saw because I have to pull for my store, I do an email and I also update my pull list. I'm at around 50 to 60 and I usually get like 10 to 15 comics a week.
I am at, I think, monthly pull wise about 25 books, and then I get extra books from Midtown. I have been in a very low place for a long time, so my books went from about 50 to 60 a month down to that. I am now back into my wonderful mindset, so I give it a month or two and I'll be probably back to 50, 60 books a month. I read a lot digitally though, so what I don't pick up physically, sometimes I'll read digitally. So I couldn't tell you the amount of books, but I don't stay below any specific numbers. I think there was 1 or 2 months where money was tight and I had to stay under a certain amount of books, but otherwise, no, I always go whatever I like. So I never have a minimum. I never have a maximum.
I'm probably in the same range as Kat, maybe a little bit more at times.
Yeah, usually you have maybe a couple more issues than me because you give a lot more indies a try. Like I do like reading a lot of indies, but they have to really call out to me for the description. So, so we all buy a lot of books, but I would say we all buy around the same range.
Michael reads about 5 books a month.
Yeah, Michael is a little lower, not month, but he reads about 5 a week. So that would be about 20 to 25.
Yeah, 20 to 25. Yeah,
which is not bad.
No, not at all. All right,
that number read up.
Let's see. Fantastic Four number 20, Empire is coming. So we're finally through that arc on the planet.
But the girl is still there. That girlfriend. I'm just I didn't like any of those characters. Oh, who cares?
He's always getting with some alien girl, right?
Always. Didn't he marry Lila 3,000 times? And then...
and what's her name? He was married to a Skrull for a while, right?
Yeah, that was her name, Lila.
Yeah, okay, that was her name. Okay, yeah, I don't remember what her name was. Anyway, so I'm just curious, if this is like the onset of Empire. I'm curious to see, how that kicks off.
I don't know how I feel about Empire yet. I'm looking forward to Outlawed.
Me too. I'm looking more forward to Outlawed.
I was saving that one, but sure, yeah, let's go for it. Outlawed.
Sorry. It's true. I'm looking forward to that way more than I'm looking forward to Empire.
Outlawed, we might be doing a video on that next week, depending if something better comes along that we want to discuss?
I know there's a cliffhanger in it. I haven't read it yet, but one of the books already spoiled it for me. So I read Spider-Gwen. It spoiled the issue. So
okay. I'm really interested in Outlaw just because it's a lot of the young heroes. I mean, it's all the young heroes,
and also the minis coming out of it is a lot of our favorite. Like for me, I love Power Pack. For Brant and Mike, you got New Warriors. So it's a lot of people we haven't seen in a while dealing with.
How does it impact Spider-Gwen though? Because she's not even really part of the 616.
I can't say, but I will say this issue actually ties into Outlaw because she goes to school there.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's true. Yeah, she goes to school there. It still is superheroing.
I would read Outlaw before you read Spider-Gwen because they're literally the line gives you the last page. So
okay.
Valkyrie, the Fall of All-Father Thor.
Wow, love this book. I already read it, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But I love the artist who's on it. He's done Ant-Man, and he's a cool guy. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much.
Yeah, I'm just curious how that ties into all the other Thor stuff, if it does at all. So.
I think it's doing its own thing right now, but
okay, that's fine. I know, like even in the main Thor book, they kind of talked a little bit about him losing his worthiness, kind of thing. So if it ties into that at all,
So Randy says there's a new Valkyrie book. Yeah, I think it's up to issue 9.
Yeah, it's issue 9. Yeah.
It's awesome.
They're up for almost a year, nothing important or anything.
Jane Foster. Power Rangers TMNT.
Yes.
Power Rangers book that I actually do read. Love this book. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So good. We get to see them as Power Rangers, right? The Turtles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when the vice versa, you get to see the Power Rangers as ninjas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
technically ninjas.
Yeah, but now honestly, not this version, the next version of them. They didn't get there yet.
All they do out of their Power Ranger uniforms, though, is train in the dojo. You never see them actually fight.
This is true. Well, they fight the putties.
Oh,
yeah, they just gotta press the Z. We do have a comment. So glad I found your live chat. Never tuned in before. You guys do a great job. Is this weekly on Tuesdays? Yes, we are. And thank you so much. We do this every Tuesday at 10.
We've been doing this for about 10 years.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Different versions of it, yes. Yeah, this particular show, we're episode 22. Same
Which
show.
also blows my mind because I was looking at that. I was like, well, 22 episodes.
Regardless what the title of the show is, the heart and soul of the show has been here for 10 years. The title has changed multiple times. But we're still the same. 5. We're still the same good. We're not changing it anymore, I would hope.
Yeah, I think we're good with this one.
Yeah, this is it. So. This is where
previously all our titles never even had comic book in it, so we had to change that for sure.
Yeah.
So now y'all know it's a comic book discussion show.
Sarni says no. I mean, what are you talking about? You said about Valkyrie Odin's daughter or something. No, so we're just talking about Jane Foster. She's the new Valkyrie.
Yeah, what I said was the fall of All-Father Thor. That's the
story arc. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Red Mother #4, which
that book.
So much.
Love that book, man. So good.
And again, a horror book that I enjoy. So it's got to be something special.
Brett, you're just becoming a horror junkie.
I don't think that's true at all, but sure.
Just accept it.
I think it's a very good pacing for that book.
Yeah, I love the pacing in it. And then the last one we got to talk about is Spider-Woman #1 with its multiple covers.
I just want to see her boyfriend.
We're not.
I only bought the one.
Oh, you want to see who I wonder if we'll find out who the actual dad of the kid is.
I think they already said it. They said it was sperm donor.
I got that one.
Yeah. That's right. You're right. I still think it's Roger. Somehow, some way.
I would love that to be I love Roger. I thought he was amazing in that series, and I did flip through it. I think he makes an appearance in this issue, so I haven't gotten to read it yet, though. I literally only read Runaways, Ghost Spider, and Valkyrie. That's all I've read so far. So
that's cool, but that's all our key issues. So that's it.
So with all that, does anybody have anything they'd like to say before we end the show?
I don't think so.
I'll make a plug for a friend of mine. Ryan Kroboth has a Kickstarter launching for his art book tomorrow. It's Bright Ideas, Dark Mind, the art of Ryan Kroboth. So go check that out on Kickstarter tomorrow.
We do have a question.
Yeah, I wanted Brent to finish first though. Are y'all the more walk in, grab your pull and go type of people, or people who walk in and look around for a while, flip through some books, look at the trades? Because the latter is me. When we had a comic shop around, I never just went. First of all, I was younger, so I never had a pull. I'm sure if my comic shop was still around, I would have an entire box dedicated to me. But I would always, when he was counting how much I owed him, I would always look around. I look at the trades, look at some old issues, look at the dollar bin, see what's there. So yeah.
See, I am the complete opposite. I do, obviously I spend my time to talk to everyone that's there. I talk to the owners and managers and people who work there, and just like people buying stuff. So I'll take my time doing that. But I don't think I've looked on a shelf in years, just because yeah, I just never really, if I wanted a book, I'd get it off Amazon. I know it's kind of sucks. You should support your local comic book store, but I already do every week with my new comics. But yeah, I work all day Wednesday to read all these books. So I don't have a lot of time when I get in there. And my store is about 40 minutes going back and forth. So it takes me a while to get there and then go back and drive. So I just use my time to talk to everybody. And then, yeah, I never really look at the shelves because I feel like as a kid, I did that so often. I know what back issues are out. Like, I think, especially for a lot of us here, it's just like, we know the comics industry / comics, what's out there so much. It's like, what did you miss? Like, and out of the 10 years of comics, we look through every book.
Issues. There's always the old issues. You go in the back and you find some old X-Men or old Spider-Man books. I always went in back and got some old Superman, some old Spider-Man.
I'd rather do that at a con because they're cheaper. So if I'm looking for old issues, I'll do that at a convention more than if I go to a store.
Well, that was my time. One thing I wish my shop was that, especially after watching all of Comic Palette. I'm sorry, Brent. I know you were saying something. I think I cut you off completely.
Like 3 times, but it's cool.
I'm sorry. You're talking low. Up your voice.
I've got a deep voice. I can't help it.
You are the alto to my whatever is higher than an alto at this point. I don't know. So I just wish my comic shop was like Comic Palace, where you have the store owner who will talk literally about any story, literally reads most of the books he's getting in his own shop. That's what I would love, is to have a shop where I can go in and actually talk comics for a little bit. I'm not somebody who walks in, hey, this is mine, see you tomorrow.
I definitely don't do that. And I know Brent wants, I'm just going to piggyback off for 1 second. I definitely don't do that. But what's interesting is I talk to the owners and everyone that works there more about the business of comics than the stories. So we'll talk more about like, oh, the journalism side to this is what retailer. That's why I wanted to do the topic we had, because we went in depth about how are retailers being affected by coronavirus and that. So we'll talk more about business than we will the storylines, which is interesting. But Brent, what are you gonna say?
I don't even know where to start now.
Start from the beginning and work your way to the middle and then end.
Yeah, so I don't regularly go to a comic shop anymore, just because mine is also far. It's 30 minutes there and back, and I'm not in love with the shop that I'm near. But when I did go regularly to a shop, I was definitely a browser. And anytime I do go in a comic shop, I look at the shelves, I look at the trades. I haven't looked at a back issue in a comic shop in years. Same thing. I'll do that at a con if I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit about storylines and stuff. I don't converse a lot in the comic shop though. I used to. I
think it depends if you know the person. I've known my store owners literally since I've been in high school. So they saw me grow up. So it's just we know each other personally, and we've become friends. So I think as a stranger, it's a little bit harder to come up with something. Yeah.
So the shops that I went to in Kentucky when I was there, one of them I'd went to for years, and so I would talk, and it didn't seem to matter who was there, because there was a bunch of different people, and I would always find myself in a conversation with somebody. So that was cool. And then the shop I went to with all the people in Northern Kentucky that ran Blue Line Pro and all that stuff when they had their shop. It was like that guy from Comic Book Palace. There was a guy there named Bill Love, and he was just an encyclopedia, and he would talk to you about every single book, and you could tell the passion and everything. And we used to hang out there, but that shop was like an hour and a half away from me, so I very rarely got to go there. But when I did, it was like a total hangout. We would get food, we'd sit in the back, we'd just have.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was such a great experience.
It's interesting to see that everyone has their own. Like, I'll definitely go in the store and people will just literally grab their stuff and that's it. But then there's people that'll hang out there for hours and hours, and I'm just like, oh man. As much as I would love to do that, I just don't even see it how I could, you know?
Yeah. Like that shop that I just talked about, we would go there for like, since it was an hour and a half away, we'd go there for like the whole day. We'd just be there for hours and hours, and it was so much fun.
I will never go 100% digital, Serenity. I'm sorry. Even with the coronavirus scare, I'm sorry. I still want my physical books.
It's so different to read. Like, that's why, like, again, we'll do a whole video on this, but I was having a conversation with them saying, like, I think this might be the tide where if this doesn't go well and if the comic industry doesn't handle this well, we actually could be seeing a conversion into digital. If stores have to close for weeks or months, digital is going to prevail, and it might kill print, and that's going to be crazy. And I like print comics. I think you have such a different experience. Like, I have to read digital a lot for work, and I hate doing it because it's just like you don't have the turn page.
I don't see the world, and this goes into our topic, but I don't see the world closing so long that it'll happen. But the scare is definitely there. Scare is definitely there. I mean, X-Men, for example, I just got my House of X, Powers of X, because I read this digitally. Got the hardcover with both of the series together in it.
That's always nice to get. Like, well, for me, I get the printed issues, and then, like, if I really love a book, I will get a trade also because it's easier to read. Because I'll never really go back to the printed issues unless I really need to, because it's hard to find them and grab them all.
Well,
but I love a book
in a physical medium. That's why I do it. Instead of just having it digitally, I have it also physically.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's something I like, but there's other stuff and it's like a finite story, I'll just wait and get the rest of it in trade.
So Michael, you were raising your hand before. What do you have to say?
Yeah. On my Duroc 18 channel, I do have, after 3 weeks, I have completed my playlist of all different categories. So for those of you who want to know how the olden days were, you could go to the categories, see how those are. You got all the series. You got Bros Team and Bros Versus. I'm sure you all remember that. You got your Mario Karts, N64, classics, you name it. And hopefully this week I got some other videos in plans for this week whenever I get around to it. And just go subscribe and rock on.
We also forgot to do our
giveaway.
Oh yeah, we did.
Let's do it now. We're gonna do the giveaway. So whoever you are who wins, you have to email us. So remember.
I'm going to screen share. Yeah, so you have 24 hours. We'll also announce the second winner. So if you could do it in 24 hours and email us if the first person didn't get back to us. So screen sharing. Let's see who won. Frankie Gonzalez won, and then number 2 was the Black Knight. So Frankie, if you can email us in 24 hours, you will get your digital codes. And then if not, Blackest Night, you could email us and you'll get digital codes. So our email is in the chat, and also after this show goes live, I'll put it in the comments.
And next week, because we were giving away the comics this week, next week I'll be giving the digital code to Red Sun, Superman Red Sun away because I don't use digital codes. But it did come out this past Tuesday, so if you'd like to check it out, check your local store. Or for right now, don't check your local store. Order it online. Order it online, have it delivered to your house.
Yeah, no local stores.
None of that. And also on my channel, really quick, I will be doing for the next 3 days my previews look through. I'll be doing DC tomorrow, Marvel on Thursday, and the full previews main magazine on Friday. So if you like to come by, it's going to be a live stream. We can sit down and talk all comic books that I'm going to be picking up physically, waiting for trades, or reading digitally. We'll talk about it all, and you can talk about the books you're picking up as well, and maybe we can discuss, and maybe you will convince me to pick up a book that I wasn't normally going to get physically, or vice versa. Maybe I'll convince somebody else to pick up a book. I don't know. We'll find out as this 3-part series happens each and every month.
And before you don't
I
give
was
me a
about
chance
to go to the. If you're going to do what you're doing, go ahead and.
I was going to say, and for any wrestling fans out there, no, that I was not going to do the subscribe.
I know the wrestling. Go ahead.
Yeah, whatever. Chris and I do a show called AEW Aftershock, and with next week, we are officially moving off Frontline over to theallcast.com, which will take you to our YouTube channel, so go check it out.
Yeah, so if you like hearing our wrestling talk, definitely go there, because that's where AEW Aftershock and all the other awesome wrestling talk will be exclusively. Now, with that being said, don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, give this video a thumbs up, and follow Comic Frontline all across social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and right here on YouTube. If you're watching on Mike's channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0, consider going over to Comic Frontline, giving us a sub, and all the other beautiful things. And if you're watching this on Comic Frontline, consider going over to Mike's channel, Comic Corner 2.0, and giving it a sub and all the other wonderful things. Our social medias, which is what I was going down for now that I remember, are right here. Michael's is being covered. Excuse me. There we go. So you can follow us all at our social media handles. I'm also on Twitch, Dark Avenger Gaming. Hope you guys all have a wonderful, happy new comic day. Stay safe out there. If you don't have to go out, stay home, and for the love of God, allow for other people to buy toilet paper, okay? Just buy what you need for your house and let other people buy what they need for their house. You don't need a toilet paper castle in your living room.
I agree.
Yes, really, because it's happening, and it's stupid. Stop it, and let other people have what they need. Take care, everybody. We'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Castles, all of them.